Hey everybody, it's Thomas here. Happy 2021. Today I'm so excited to be bringing you finally the top 100 best free jailbreak tweaks for iOS 14. But before we get started, remember my channel is supported by you guys and you guys alone, so I really appreciate you clicking that like and subscribe button. Anyway, let's hope this year is a better one than last year, and let's get into some awesome jailbreak tweaks. Anyways, let's get right into the first tweak. So the first tweak is called Accelerated Home Button, and what it does is pretty darn simple. Essentially, when you click home, it removes any delay that's automatically in the system in stock iOS, so you can click home much faster. The second tweak is called Accent, and what this one essentially does is allows you to customize the system accent color, which is the color switches and stuff. So I just set mine to blue, and as you can see, this is what it looks like. I think it looks pretty darn nice. The next tweak is called Alarm Volume. So normally when you have an alarm on your system, the alarm actually goes off at the current system volume, which applies to all kinds of stuff, videos, music you're playing, etc. But with the alarm volume tweak, you can actually customize the alarm volume, which is completely separate from the volume you normally get in Control Center. Anyways, the next tweak is called Among Lock, and for those of us who are Among Us players and love the game, this is pretty darn cool. Essentially turns your lock screen into an Among Us themed game. So you have this whole Among Us themed background, and then when you slide up to unlock, you get an Among Us style passcode area, and I think it's pretty cool. The next tweak is called AniLaunch, and what it does essentially is animates your app icons how they launch. So if I want to actually launch an app, as you can see, there's a cool little animation right here. And what I like about this tweak a lot is that even though it's free, it's really customizable. So I can actually go into here and I can customize global animation. So I'll just select macOS dock bounce and per app animation. So let's say I want to launch the App Store with a rotate clockwise. Now when I launch, for example, the music app, it's going to do macOS dock bounce. But when I launch the App Store, it's going to do a spin. The next tweak, Chrome essentially adds the battery percent into the battery icon on your device. So it's a pretty useful, helpful thing to have. The next tweak is called BatteryLife, which allows you to customize your battery percent view in status bar. So you can do things like customize it to, rather than showing your current charge level, show your current discharge rate or other stuff like that. And it also comes with an app that just gives you general battery stats. The next tweak is called BatSafe Pro, which allows you to increase your maximum charge level, which will help keep your battery healthy. So essentially, when you charge normally on stock iOS, it starts charging around 80% to keep your battery healthy. Then once it thinks that you might use it soon, it finishes charging. But with BatSafe Pro, it bypasses this whole thing. So if it stops charging, you'll actually just get a notification, and then you'll be able to completely automatically finish the charge. The next tweak is called Better Settings, which allows you to totally customize your settings app. So as you can see, mine has this weird black background, which you don't normally get. And you can customize things in a lot of ways. For example, I can add a background image. Let me just add one of my face. And yeah, that's what it looks like. I don't think this is the greatest background, but whatever. The next tweak, actually the 10th tweak, is called Campy, which allows you to do a few things. First of all, it allows you to copy photos from the Photos app without metadata. So let me just select a photo right quick. Here's a photo of my dog. It's a live photo. I can click on this copy button and it will actually copy the photo without the metadata. And I can do a lot more things. For example, I can change a live photo to a GIF. So let me just try to do that. Then when I go into my messages, I'll just paste it as a text message just as a test. Here, let me paste that in. And there it's pasted. And as you can see, it sends a GIF. Here's one I did earlier. I think it's pretty darn cool. Anyway, let's go on to the next tweak. Alright, the next tweak is called Blank Pass, and what Blank Pass does is pretty darn simple. Essentially, it removes the numbers from your passcode buttons on your lock screen. So it just gives you a nice, modern, clean look on your passcode screen. The tweak after that is called Carrierizer 2, which allows you to set custom carrier text. Now, I don't actually have a carrier, so I can't show you guys what this looks like, but I will show you some of the options so you can change your carrier text from something like Verizon to something like your name or hello. You can change your no sim / no service text to whatever you want, hide your carrier, fake no service, etc. The next tweak is called Cask 2, which is honestly a really great tweak, especially for the price, 100% free. So what this does is actually animates your scrolling table view. So on any app that uses a table view, it animates the scrolling effect So you can see I have this cool scrolling effect. What's great about it, which I wouldn't expect from a free tweak, is it's so customizable. So I can actually go into the settings and change the style to whatever scrolling I want. I can change the time, can change how it animates, etc. So just look, isn't this cool? You have to admit it's pretty darn cool. And I can customize how it works per app. Just look with the fade view, it just looks so clean. Anyways, with the next tweak, we have Cask Switcher. So this is the normal app switcher. And with Cask Switcher, we actually get this, which is the iPad style app switcher. So it's just a cool little change out to your normal system UI. And the next tweak is CCVPN, which actually just adds a VPN toggle to your control center. Alright guys, the next tweak is called Charge Mode. So what this one actually does is it lets you set a cool custom charging animation on your lock screen. So when you're charging, it looks like this. Now this tweak actually is pretty darn simple, but on OLED devices, this will look great because most of the screen will be shut off with the black area, and you'll just have a little text for your charging and your charging dots. Now back to simpler tweaks, let's take a look at Clear Dock 12. What this tweak does is it just changes your dock to be clear. The next tweak, Colorful Notice, essentially modifies and tints your notifications to look a certain color. That's the color of the app icon. Now of course it doesn't work in dark mode because that sets a custom color for the background of your notifications system wide, but when you turn that off, it will actually color your notifications. The next tweak is called Color My Battery. What this tweak does essentially allows you to have a custom battery color that's based on the current charging level. So you can actually customize this a lot in settings. So you can set different colors for each charging level, and you can customize bolt color, low power mode color, etc. And it's a really cool, free customizable tweak that I really like as a nice touch to your UI. The next tweak is called Cowbell, which essentially adds the battery percent to the control center low power mode toggle. So right here you can see low power mode toggle and 93%. Alright you guys, time for tweak 21, which is another one of my all-time favorite best free jailbreak tweaks. And of course this one supports iOS 14 and actually pretty much every iOS I can think of. It's called Cylinder. So it adds a cool switching page animation on your springboard, and you can actually customize this a lot. So let me find Cylinder in my setting. Here it is, and as you can see, there's all kinds of different animation effects, and you can set different orders to play different animations. You can install custom animations, all kinds of stuff. Let me just show you a cool effect. Beta 382's Rubik's Cube. Here we have it. I'll add that. And now when I switch pages, it gives this really cool Rubik's Cube effect. Isn't that pretty awesome? And it's a free tweak as well. The next tweak is called Delete Cut, and this one's actually a pretty darn useful tweak. So delete cut, let's say you're typing like a whole paragraph, you make a typo, which I often make on this small device because I'm used to a Pro Max device, which is kind of huge. So hello world, as you can see, I made a typo. MG, rather than deleting letter by letter, you can hold the shift key, my delete button will turn red, and I'll delete the entire word. So it's pretty useful if you're typing like a paragraph or something long and you just want to delete a lot of words at once. Alright guys, the next tweak is called Drain, and this one is another tweak for your battery. So what this one does is actually tells you how much battery you've used every day at the end of the day. So as you can see, you just get a little cool notification right here. Drain, your daily average drain is negative 37 milliamp hours or negative 141 milliamp hours. Yeah, I don't use this phone very often. It's just for videos. So that makes sense. And then it also gives you lots of cool information about your battery. So you can see I'm currently discharging this much battery. I have this many battery cycles, time left on my battery. My battery health is very bad. You can check your battery statistics and you can see which actual tweaks are culprits, aka which tweaks are draining a lot of your battery. So if you just see info right here, culprits show tweaks that have potentially been marked as battery draining. The next tweak everybody should totally have installed in their settings is called DragSpring, and what this tweak does is it gives you a pretty quick, easy to use respring shortcut in your settings. I actually accidentally used it earlier in this video when showing you a settings customization tweak. So as you can see at the top of my settings screen, I can just slide down and it restrings my device just like that. It's a handy shortcut to have. I would install it if I were you. The next tweak is called DuplexClock, which allows you to show your clock at the top of your status bar for multiple time zones. So as you can see, currently I have my time in my native time zone, Pacific Standard Time, and another time zone which appears to be 6 hours later, and I have no idea where that is. Maybe London? I'm not sure. But either way, you can customize that in settings. The next tweak is called exact time, which rather than showing you a notification sent 10 minutes ago, it will actually show the time the notification was sent. So as you can see right here, 3:06, I got exposure notifications are available in the California Department of Public Health. By the way, if you have exposure notifications available in your area for COVID, take a look into that. They're a pretty good thing to have. The next tweak is called 5-Dock13, which essentially allows you to store 5 icons in your dock. Now this looks really horrible on the iPhone SE because it's a puny device, but let's say you have an iPhone 8 Plus or an iPhone 8, then it's a pretty nice thing to have. The next tweak is called Flame, which is actually a tweak that improves Cydia. As we all know, Cydia is kind of old, so Flame just gives you a few more options. So one of them is you can just refresh sources by sliding down like that. Also, it's going to remove that huge reloading data thing if you just tap on it. And the next thing you can do is in your installed tweaks, you can actually export how many tweaks and which tweaks you have, and you can do a lot more stuff. The next tweak is called HeartLines, which customizes the lock screen dock. So as you can see on my lock screen, I have this epic, well, it looks kind of like the jellyfish tweak, except it's a free version. It's a cool clock little widget right here, gives me the time, the date, and the weather. And it's a nice tweak, and especially I like that it's free. As with most pretty darn good tweaks, you can actually customize it a lot. So if I go into the HeartLine settings, I can customize the position, customize how things look, and all kinds of other stuff. So I'll just change how would I change how the orientation is for the actual tweak on my lock screen. And now I'm going to need to respring, which I can just do using that shortcut that I have in settings from DragSpring, respring my device. And now when I go actually onto my lock screen, as you can see right here, the widget moved. So pretty cool. The next two tweaks actually are called Hide Labels and Hide Labels 13. Both serve the same purpose. They remove your app icon labels. So essentially I included two because they both work, and if one of them kind of conflicts with another tweak, well, you can try the other one. Alright you guys, now for tweak number 32, June. So what June does actually is adds a cool now playing interface themed off of Spotify to your lock screen when you're playing music. So I'm going to play a song right here, and as you can see right here on my lock screen, I now have this cool interface based on the song. I can play, pause, skip forward, back. There's no other songs on this album, but you get the gist, and it's pretty darn cool. And you actually see which speaker it's emitting sound from right on the bottom right here. The next tweak is called Koi, which allows you to colorize the 3D touch menu on your iPhone. So as you can see, when I go to 3D touch on an app icon, I have a 3D touch menu tinted from the app icon color, and you can see this one better with a orange app. It actually tints the background of your screen as well. The next tweak, Loon, actually adds a moon icon overlay to your lock screen when you have Do Not Disturb on, so it also darkens your background. It kind of adds a nice touch. Now of course it conflicts with some other tweaks because they just overlay stuff on your lock screen, but if you don't have these other tweaks on here, you can customize it and actually it will look really nice. The next tweak, NP Share Sheet, allows you to use Control Center to actually share the current song that's now playing on your device. The next tweak is called Power App, and this app is actually really useful. So let me just find it. Here's Power App, and when I open it up, as you can see, I have lots of cool stuff like reboot, shutdown, soft reboot, respring, safe mode. Let's just try out safe mode, and it's gonna respring me right into safe mode. It's just a pretty handy tool to have. By the way guys, I know my home screen's hecka glitchy. It's just because I have like 100 tweaks installed and they're conflicting with each other, so don't install 100 tweaks on your device. Alright you guys, so the next tweak, Quit All, essentially adds a Quit All button to the app switcher, so it actually conflicts with some of my other tweaks, so it keeps disappearing, but it still works, so I can show you guys what it looks like. Essentially if I tap in the top right corner of my screen where this button should be showing, it's going to automatically close every single app I have. Now the next tweak is just a visual tweak. It's called Snowverlay, and as you can see, it adds this pretty cool snow overlay to your home screen and your lock screen, and it's just a nice thing to have for the winter. It doesn't really do anything, I just think it, contributes to the overall mood in the winter. Alright you guys, so the next tweak is also starting with a snow. It's called Snowboard. It's essentially a theme engine for your device. I'm currently using the theme Lotus, and so it just modifies how your system icons look. The next tweak is called Swipe for More. Now what Swipe for More does is allows you to manage Cydia items by swiping on them. So let's say I want to go to my Cydia tweaks and I want to uninstall Accelerated HomeButton. I'll just swipe from right to left, click this X button, and it will allow me to remove it. Boom. The next tweak really comes in handy when you're communicating with somebody who speaks a different language. It's called Tranzlo, and what it does is actually translates messages automatically between languages. And this is useful for communicating with somebody who doesn't speak your native language. Let's say you need to speak with somebody out of the country who speaks, say, Spanish. You can automatically translate your messages from them into English and to them into Spanish. And it works in Messages, Facebook, Messenger, Twitter, etc. Basically system-wide. So let's just try it out. So I'm going to open up Messages and I'm going to say, I am using this translator. I am using this translator. Then when I send it, it's going to prompt me to translate it, and I can translate it into Spanish or whatever language I set in the preferences. So I'll say yes, and it's going to say, estoy usando este traductor. And so, yeah, it translates it into Spanish. And let's say I'm reading something and I actually just want to translate it to English. I can select certain text. So I can select this whole paragraph, for example, tap on it, and then I can automatically translate it to English so I can read it. So let me just show you guys what this looks like. I'll translate this to English. And now it'll offer me what it looks like in English, and I can actually just copy this. So it's a pretty useful tweak, not gonna lie. The next tweak is called Violet, and what Violet does is it sets your now playing song as your wallpaper. So right now when I actually play a song, I'm just gonna quickly play a song from my music library. How about this one right here? It's going to set it as my wallpaper in certain areas on my system, such as in my notification center, control center, etc. The next tweak, 9LS, brings back the iOS 9 style lock screen back to iOS 14, and it's pretty darn cool. This is my setup. You got slide to unlock, iOS 9 style notifications, and you have a bunch of other customizable features. Let me just show you how the music player looks directly from iOS 9 ported to iOS 14. Let's play a quick song. And as you can see right here, I have the iOS 9 style music player. So how's that tweak? Brings a lot of nostalgia. The next tweak is actually not a tweak. It's called Zebra, and it's a Cydia alternative. So it's a package manager. And I love Zebra because Zebra is like Cydia on steroids. It works way faster. I can add multiple sources at once. I don't have to respring every time I download anything. And it's just all around better. Also has this whole home featured tweak section. It's just great. I highly recommend it. The next tweak is also not a tweak. It's called FileZa, and it's a package manager. So what FileZa essentially does is it's a full file manager that lets you essentially modify whatever files you want on your phone. So I can also just run commands and stuff like that and run executable files through FileZa that you normally can't do. One thing I gotta say is be careful not to modify things that you aren't sure about what it's gonna do. The next tweak is called Circle Settings. And for some reason this isn't working for me because it's conflicting with one of my other tweaks, but I have tried it on another device. It does work for iOS 14. Essentially takes all your settings icons and makes them into a circular shape. It looks pretty darn nice. The next tweak, Drag Enabler, allows you to have iPad style drag and drop on your iPhone. So you can drag things around, drag them system wide, and let's say I want to open up a new message chain. I'm still dragging it, and I can actually paste this right into this message chain, and boom. Works for text, images, all kinds of stuff. It's pretty darn useful. The next tweak is called Flash Notify, which I actually worked with the developer to make this. So Flash Notify is essentially a tweak for those who sometimes leave their flashlight on by mistake, or for those who trigger it in their pockets by accident if they have like an iPhone 10, which has one of the flashlight shortcut buttons on the lock screen. So what it does is it's highly customizable. It allows you to automatically get a notification when you leave your flashlight on, remind you when you charge your phone, if your flashlight's still on when you're charging it, and it actually reminds you and turns off your flashlight automatically if you leave it on for a certain period of time. And of course, this is highly customizable. So I can customize all this stuff. So I'll just show you guys really quickly what it looks like. I'm gonna leave my flashlight on for a good 30 seconds. And as you guys can see, I just got a notification that my flashlight's still on. And if I want to turn it off, I can just easily turn that off, and it will actually turn off my flashlight. So the next tweak is called Folded, which allows you to customize how your system folders look. This is my current preset I'm using. It's called Modern, and I think it just looks really nice in general. But it does have a lot of presets that you can modify it to. As you can see, there's so many different presets you can choose, and they all look really great on your device. And the 50th tweak is Fluid Tabs, which is really cool. So as you know, on your iPhone, you have certain apps which are natively tabbed apps. One major example of this is the Clock app. So as you can see, we have lots of different tabs on the bottom. And what Fluid Tabs allows you to do is simply slide between these tabs. So it's pretty cool, and it's pretty darn useful, and I personally like it myself. So tweak number 51 is called Gestures XS. What Gestures XS does is basically brings the iPhone 10 gestures to older devices. As you can see, I can do all the cool swiping effects that you normally only get on iPhone 10 and above on older devices. The next tweak is called iCleaner, which is actually an application which allows you to clean off cache and junk files from your device. Essentially open it up, click clean. It will clean off all of the junk files from your device. Let's see if I can close out of ad. Finally, dang, did you guys see that? I hit the X button. It didn't open the App Store, wow. Anyway, as you guys just saw, it does open up an ad after your device cleans out, and it freed up almost half a gigabyte. Now it's just gonna respring my device and delete all those junk files. Some of the features of iCleaner, you can actually turn off things like OTA software updates. Just be sure that if you plan to unjailbreak your device, turn them back on, because restoring it will not restore the software updates if you disable them in iCleaner. The next tweak is called Low Battery Banner. Essentially, you get a banner rather than a huge pop-up when your device has low battery, so it will prompt you to go into low power mode. Much less intrusive, much nicer, get it. The next tweak is called LPM Auto Lock Time. So normally with low power mode, your device will automatically lock at a certain time, but you can't customize that. With LPM Auto Lock Time, you can customize that to change how long you want it to take to auto lock during low power mode. The next tweak, Manila, allows you to quickly launch apps from folders just by 3D touching or long pressing on them. So it's just a quick shortcut, and it works pretty nicely. Next we have a new term, which is a pretty darn full-fledged terminal for your phone. So you can run all kinds of terminal commands. For example, if I want to respring my device, I'll run kill all springboard. Return, and boom, my device resprings. It's a fully working terminal, but don't run commands you don't know what they do. The next tweak is called No Breadcrumb 13. So what this essentially does is when you open up a link in some application like your text messages, let's say I want to open up this link I sent myself earlier, Utopia, I can open it up and I will not get a back to messages breadcrumb. Pretty nice, good for the UI. The next tweak is No D&D Banner. As you can see right now I am in Do Not Disturb mode, yet I have no banner. That's no D&D banner. The next tweak is called Now Playing Icon, which essentially sets your current music icon to whatever song is now playing on your device. Now, I did personally run into issues with this tweak. I think it's conflicting with another tweak I have. I have 100 tweaks after all. Don't install 100 tweaks. That's kind of a lot of tweaks, but it worked for some people. If you want to try it out, you can, but I can't really recommend it. Alright guys, the next tweak, Power Cuff, allows you to customize how low power mode throttles your device so you can save more or less battery during low power mode. The next tweak is called Pill Volume, which is completely visual. It just changes how your volume and brightness sliders look on your device. The next tweak is called Prediction Shortcuts. So essentially when typing things normally, you have autocorrect, right? Hello. But if it doesn't have anything to say, anything to tell you to correct, it will automatically just give you these shortcuts such as select all, copy, paste, select all, cut, and it's pretty darn useful. The next tweak, Puck, essentially automatically puts your device into a hibernation mode to save battery so that your phone doesn't die, because of course nowadays with jailbreaks, when your phone dies, you lose the jailbreak. So you can set what % your phone will go into hibernation mode and what percent it will wake up from hibernation mode. It's a pretty useful tweak to have nowadays. The next tweak, Real CC, changes your crappily designed Wi-Fi and Bluetooth buttons so that they actually properly disconnect when you turn off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth in Control Center. Boom. Actually, it turned off for now. Didn't just disconnect temporarily. The next tweak is called Replay, which essentially lets you add a shuffle and repeat button to your music player on your lock screen. Now, I couldn't get this one to work on my device. It's conflicting with another tweak and I have no idea which one it is, but I have tested out on another iOS 14 device where that was the only tweak installed, and it does work. Essentially just adds a shuffle and repeat button to your music player on your lock screen, and it is a really nice tweak to have. Of course, it doesn't work with June. The next tweak is called Rofi. So Rofi is essentially this convenient little app launcher that you get by swiping from the side of your device. So Rofi essentially is a system-wide app launcher, and you can set whichever apps you want from there. Let me just select a few applications. Why don't I add App Store to it? And then when I go back, I'm gonna apply my changes, and you can customize all kinds of things like how big it is, how many apps you have in there, all kinds of stuff. So as you can see right here, I can just open up the App Store and boom. The next tweak, Safari Wallpaper, just lets me set a background for my Safari new tab page. And I can set it to be my normal system background, my Springboard background. I can set it to change during light and dark mode. And here's just what it looks like set to a picture I took earlier. Pretty cool, isn't it? The next tweak I have is called Slide to Show Notification. So normally with a notification, if you slide, it prompts you to actually open the app, but with Slide to Show Notification, it just shows the notification in an expanded view. Now with Spot Clear on Close, when you enter some text into Spotlight, random text right here, and then you click out of Spotlight, it clears it out, versus with stock iOS, it actually saves that, which I don't know why, it's kind of an annoying feature. With Tap Tap Lock, when I double tap on my Springboard, it locks my device. And with Tranzlock, it changes my lock screen buttons to customize it in a pretty darn cool way, and I can actually customize this however the heck I want. There's a lot of cool features. It's kind of weird, but I like it. The next tweak is called Tempus Romanum, which essentially, as you can see, gives me a Roman numeral clock. The next tweak is called Volume Percent, which is pretty darn simple. It gives you the current volume percent in the system volume HUD. And so as you can see right now, I'm on 49%. And yeah, it's kind of cool. All right, you guys, the next tweak is called System Info. And what this tweak does is it increases how much information you get in the About page in your settings. So as you can see, if I go to Settings, General, About, here I have a lot more information about my phone. So if I scroll down, I can get all this kind of information about, for example, my modem firmware. I can see if my carrier is locked, etc. The next tweak, Keyboard ASIO, makes it much easier to switch between keyboards on your device where you have multiple languages installed. So normally when you press on the globe icon to switch languages, it's going to switch between all of these different languages. So it's going to take a while to go from, for example, emoji to English. But with Keyboard ASIO, it just swaps between your first two keyboards or two keyboards that you set. And when you want to rotate to a different keyboard that you use less often, you can just hold down on the globe and select it. The next tweak, Dismiss Progress, essentially makes it so that when you're done installing something in Cydia, rather than actually restarting your Springboard, you can just dismiss the progress and close out of that. The next tweak is called Activator. And what Activator does is actually gives you a lot of cool quick actions that you can use your phone for. So let's say, for example, that if I tap with 3 fingers, I want to open my battery settings. I can do that. And now once I go into my Springboard and tap with 3 fingers, it will open up my battery settings. Alright, you guys, with the next tweak, Latest, I essentially get to customize my keyboard, have all kinds of new colors on it that you don't normally have. And as you guys can see, if I just open up the settings for Latest, I have lots of different presets. So I can have a light theme, I can have a dark theme, etc. And yeah, it's just a pretty cool keyboard theming engine, and it's 100% free. Alright, you guys, the next tweak is called Cydia. With Cydia, essentially if I select any text in my system, let me just go to apple.com and I'll hold down on some text, I can look up this text system-wide. So it's a pretty useful thing to have. The next tweak is called Good Wi-Fi, which a good Wi-Fi essentially just displays a lot more information than you'd normally get about your nearby Wi-Fi networks. So if I just go into my Wi-Fi settings, here you can see a lot more information about my internet than you normally get and you see a lot more information about other networks as well. The next tweak is called Replace Dictation Key with Emoji, which essentially uses the dictation key shortcut to go to your emojis and back. So if you don't use dictation, that's a useful thing to have. The next tweak, AV Lock, essentially adds a orientation lock button to your stock video player. So as you can see, if I change my orientation, boom, it's locked, and if I unlock it, it changes the orientation. The next tweak, No Trackpad Delay, essentially removes the delay from accessing the trackpad on your keyboard. So normally there's a few seconds delay. With no trackpad delay, there's no delay at all. The next tweak, Tab Blocker, just blocks certain web pages from opening up a new tab. The next tweak, Delete Forever, allows you to easily delete a picture forever from your phone. So just click delete and click permanently delete photo, and now it'll be completely deleted from both your photo library and your recently deleted folder. The next tweak, TweakCount 2, essentially just shows you how many tweaks you have installed in Cydia. So as you can see, I have 107 right now. The next tweak, More Frequently Used Emojis, shows you 50 frequently used emojis instead of the regular 30, I believe. The next tweak, Tweak Compatible, essentially just shows you when you go to install a tweak if it's compatible. So as you can see right now, Alarm Volume, which is a tweak I have, it says unknown, so it's not known if it's compatible or not. And if I actually click on that unknown right there, and then click Show Reviews, and then I can click on Tweak Compatible, and will allow me to search for tweaks that are compatible with my iOS version. The next tweak, Quick Markup, essentially allows me to more quickly access the markup menu for marking up my photos. So as you can see, it's loading up right now, and well, it should have loaded, but my phone is slow. But as you can see, it works. Anyway, the next tweak is called CrashReporter, and essentially what CrashReporter does is when your phone crashes, it will show you why it crashed. So as you can see right here, X user fault springboard, and I can access the crash. It will process the crash log and then give me some suspect tweaks. And my phone is slow, so it's going to take like 10 minutes, so I'm not going to film it. The next tweak is called Force in Picture, which essentially forces picture-in-picture for older devices. So if I open up a video on YouTube and I click home, as you can see, I have picture-in-picture, but YouTube tries to block picture-in-picture, so it disappears, but you can see it works. The next tweak is called Hotspot QR, and now because some scumbag cellular network decided to lock this phone, I can't actually show you how this works, but essentially gives you a QR code that you can scan to easily join your personal hotspot. The next tweak, No Older Notifications Text, essentially removes the No Older Notifications text from your notification center. The next tweak, Clydaria, I don't know how to pronounce this. Okay, the next tweak, Clydaria, whatever. The next tweak, Clydaria, essentially makes it so when you put your phone face down, it will shut it off. Well, lock it, I mean. As you can see, that's what it does. The next tweak, Keep My Jailbreak, essentially removes the software update and the erase all content and settings tab from settings so that you can't accidentally update your phone or erase it. The next tweak is called Lights Out, and essentially what this tweak does essentially uses the proximity sensor to check if you're in a light room or a dark room, and when you go into a light or a dark room, it will change light or dark mode accordingly. The next tweak, Aurora, essentially modifies your apps so that certain apps like the Clock app, Date app, Weather app, Now Playing app, essentially update their app icons dynamically to show things like the temperature and stuff like that. Alright you guys, the next tweak, Central, essentially centers the last row on your springboard. The next tweak, Quiet, essentially allows you to disable notifications from the 3D Touch menu on your iPhone. And the final 100th tweak is called Clean, which is this cool home screen / lock screen widget. Now it does require Zen HTML and Zen Info. So guys, that is all 100 iOS 14 jailbreak tweaks, 100% free. I really do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please do me a favor and smash that like button and just comment down below which one's your favorite tweak. This video took me so many hours to make, so I really appreciate you doing that, and have a great day and enjoy your jailbreak.